Hello and welcome back to Game Brigade. I'm Brian Greer, and on this show we do reviews, previews, playthroughs, and have conversations about our favorite board games. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing and joining the Game Brigade community. I started off with my intro with this one, but I suspect if you're watching this, you were probably already part of the community, and I want to thank you for watching the show and being a part of this community and this adventure that I have undertaken, and really been very surprised with the amount of growth that I have. So today we're going to be doing a channel update as well as the announcement for the Oathsworn giveaway for the second copy that we had going on. So as everyone knows, we hit 4,000 subscribers this week. Really kind of surprised me with the amount of growth that we had. The final 200 subscribers really came out of nowhere, out of the gates. So thank you everyone who joined the community, has been subscribing, hitting the like button, joining the Discord. It's been kind of a really fun adventure. So again, I don't know how many times I could say thank you. I don't want to make this whole video thank you, but I feel like really it's I didn't think I would have, 2,000 subscribers by this time. It's just kind of been shocking to see how many people have been supporting me through this journey. So I wanted to talk about some of the things going on in the channel, maybe some updates, really having a conversation with you, my community members, because I want this show to be a reflection of my community and basically have you guys being a part of the growth and the direction of the type of content that I create. The first thing I want to talk about is the scoring system, how I review games, and the point breakdown. Now, maybe I should have done this prior to filming, but as you know, I use a point decimal system on my scoring, where every game will be rated, between 1 and 10, but you use a point breakdown between like 7.4 or 8.2 to give it a more definitive number behind that score. And I have a theory and a belief that nothing is going to be a 10. So I want people to understand that when I'm reviewing a game, if a game gets a 9 or above a 9 of any point, to me, that game is one of the better games that I played. Like a 9, I don't think I will be giving out many 9.5 or above, because that is like a pinnacle game. Nothing could be a 10 in my opinion. I think there's always something that can be improved in a board game. So I just want to make sure people are aware, like an 8 is an incredible game as well. A 7 is probably what I would consider like worthy to be in my collection. A 6 is a game that I would enjoy playing, but maybe not necessarily owning. A 5 is a game that I could take it or leave it. I could play it. Don't really care if I don't ever play that game. Anything below, I would say a 5. So 4s are games that need work. 3s are definitely games that have glaring issues. And I think games that are 2 or 1 are basically unplayable in terms of my scoring system. Now, I do have, with that, so I wanted to maybe this was the good breakdown in terms of what does it mean when I'm scoring a game, and what does that score do to reflect to you? So I want you guys to say, if I'm giving a game a 6.4, it doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad game. I think we've all been conditioned that a game has to be like an 8 or above to be a good game. Like, people always are rating 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I'm like, guys, that's a really high score. I think a 6 out of 10 in my idea, like a 6.4, is a good game. Like, I would own this game, not necessarily need it, but it's a game I would own. So that's something to consider. So hopefully this really quick synopsis breakdown of my scoring system will help. But I do think I want to change a part of my scoring system. One of the games that we just reviewed for a new segment, which will probably be live prior to this, so it's actually probably already live, I've talked about a secondary scoring system, something that's a personal scoring system. And I found that there are times that I play a game that I personally might not like, but I can see reasons or things about this game that would be interesting to people who like those types of games, because not everyone likes every type of game. Not everyone likes a war game with miniatures. Not everyone likes Euros. Not everyone likes card games, deck builders. So the Game Brigade reviewer score is going to be my attempt to say, in that type of game segment, what is the score for that game? And then I'm going to have the personal score. What is my score in terms of my personal tastes? So I think that'll give you guys a better impression, because I know some people like what my tastes are in terms of how because I like a lot of different types of games, and so some games really resonate with me, some games don't, but I can also say some games are good and they might not resonate with me. So I want to probably start doing that. Now I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the graphic for that. Right now I use a stamp system for my scores. I do this and we have a little stamp of my score. I haven't quite figured out how we're going to do that. I wanted to kind of show this to the community and get your guys' opinions on this, and if it's a good change. Do you think this will be of value to the community and to the reviewing scoring system? Do you think publishers and people who are buying games would appreciate a score that is the recommended Game Brigade score and then the personal score? Because maybe they're watching this and they don't care who I am, so who cares what my score is, but they want to know what the score is in terms of the channel. So that's something I thought would be interesting. So that is the first point. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the direction of the current programs on the show. So for example, we have the Kickoff Monday, where we talk about games that I'm most interested on Kickstarter or GameFound each week. We started the hotness this week. And then I have the Kickstarter callback, which are more frequently, which are currently once a month shows. We do them at the beginning of every month. And then I was thinking about doing small box review Saturday, which is kind of what I did with Aroma. It's a game that should be already posted. And I currently have the Is It Worth Backing / Should You Back series. Now, let's talk about the Is It Worth Backing. I changed the name of that segment from Should You Back to Is It Worth Backing, because I wanted to take a more personal approach. I wanted it to be my personal opinion about the game and tell you guys what I think of the campaign and the game, and is it worth backing in whole. I felt like my original episodes were more monotone and flat, and maybe more I don't want to say factual, but almost like Spock or someone was talking to you, like, this is the most logical thing to do, like just very bare. And I had someone tell me that, I want to hear Brian's opinion. I want to hear what you are going to be doing. So I decided to change this segment to Is It Worth Backing? Didn't really mean much in terms of the name segment change, but it meant enough to me to say, okay, now I can try something different. So what do you guys think about that? Should I stick with that kind of segment where you're going to get more of my personal opinion in the sections? Or would you rather have me keeping my opinion out, so that way I'm giving it to you more of a factual, it's still factual, but more of like less opinionated in terms of my review recommendation. So that's for that. Small box Saturday. I know for me and the channel audience, a majority of you guys like big box, generally big box Kickstarter games, or just big box games that are more grandiose or more interesting, or kind of something that's kind of the top tier board games. But I've been doing a lot of small box reviews on this game. A lot of small box games are going to be indie developers or small publishers, and they're trying to get their product out in front of people, and sometimes it can be hard to do so. I know that in terms of the analytics and stats for my show, that those games just do not perform well. So I thought, well, maybe, and unfortunately you guys don't watch them, and I don't blame you, because they're usually games that no one has ever heard about. So I figured, how about we set a day, and it doesn't have to mean every day, but if it's a game if I release a video on a Saturday, it's going to be a small box review. So small box Saturday. Basically, those are going to be games that are going to be publishers that are smaller or small box that I feel like I do want to bring attention to it because I think they're probably something good or worth looking at. But I will put it on a day that's less used, and I don't personally have a release date currently for Saturday, so I figured that might be a good day. Let me know what you guys think of that idea in general, in terms of what type of review content would you like to see. Would you rather me doing these big games like this, or are you okay with a small box? Because like this is a game that I planned on reviewing, Windmill Cozy Stories. So let me know what you guys think about that. Okay, what else did I have on this list? Okay, the newest shows that we've had, I kind of wanted to get an opinion on you guys. We had Kickoff Monday, and what else did we have? We had Kickoff Monday and the Hotness and the Callback. So Kickoff Monday, I think that has been a good hit for me. But I was planning originally when I started it was every Monday we're going to do this. But then we hit like a week where there's just nothing on Kickstarter. So what do I do in that situation? People suggested maybe just talk about late pledges that might be new or something like that. So I want to shoot that out to you guys. What do you think would be great for the Kickoff Monday? I would like to have that show be solidified as a show, but if there's nothing that interests me on either platforms for GameFound or Kickstarter, what would you be okay with a substitute, or would you rather just not have anything and just me do a community post saying, hey, no post, nothing interests me right now? Let me know. The Hotness was an idea where I literally didn't have, this was because of Kickoff Monday where I had nothing to use. I was like, well, I need to find something to do. So the Hotness came back because I was looking at Board Game Geek, looking at the Hotness list, and I just thought it was interesting of why some of those games were on the Hotness. So I figured let's bring attention to the community, maybe find something you guys didn't know about originally. So that's a new show. I'm not sure what you guys think about it. If you want me to keep that, let me know. The other thing I wanted to ask was the Kickstarter Callback. Been a very good series for me, talking about what I backed and what I didn't back. Basically every game that I covered for that month. Did I back any of those games, or did I not back those games? Plus anything I backed that I might not have covered. The question I had for that one, do you guys like those as monthly series, or would it be okay as every 2 week series? Because things happen, quite a bit, and maybe things change. I don't know. I thought that might be an interesting question to ask. Okay, so giveaways and Patreon. We have a giveaway going on. Obviously, we're doing the giveaway for Oathsworn. I have more giveaways that I've picked up personally. We have another giveaway occurring for a Kickstarter later in March. Once it goes live, I'll announce that one. So I want to make sure people are aware of the giveaways. Currently, we do the hashtag system, which has been working great in terms of getting people to have their entry logged for the giveaway. I do want to make sure people are aware with the Patreon. If you are a Patreon, I believe at the influencer level and up, you get bonus entries to all of my giveaways. So if that sounds like something is interesting to you and you want to have a better chance at a giveaway, try checking a look at my Patreon. I always got the link down below, and see if those bonus entries are interesting for you. I also have at the $25 level, where if I have a review game that was sent to me and I'm no longer wanting that, I just send those to those people in that tier level. I'll ask if anyone's interested in receiving it. If someone says yes and no one else does, I will send them off. If we have multiple people, then I'll just, raffle it off and kind of do it fairly. It's not like if you've got one, then you're set for next one. It's going to go to the next person. But those are things to take a look at if you're interested in potentially getting extra games for a good price. Because I can't keep all of the review games that I get. Sometimes I buy a game for a review and I'm like, this didn't really work for me, so I'm gonna just move it along. So I wanted to pay back, give back to my Patreon community, because a lot of the times the Patreon funds are what's funding me to get these games in the first place. So might as well pay it back in that way. So make sure you check out the Patreon level if you're interested in that. Again, I actually have a lot of levels that I think are very interesting. I tried to make them fun and to give you guys more content or more value if you are interested in that, and to have more connection with me if you want to help me direct the show. So thank you for that. So we had some questions that I asked on the community post. If anyone had any questions they wanted me to ask, I want to do a Q&A at some point. I honestly feel a bit embarrassed because I'm nervous that if I did a Q&A, like a live video, would anyone even show up? Let me know if that's something. Would you guys, if I did a stream of any type, would people show up, or am I going to be sitting there talking to myself? It's incredibly nerve-wracking because I don't know, I'm embarrassed. But I did get 2 questions that people asked. The first one was from Night Hunter Z00Z, and he said, what's one of those games that you wish you still liked or feel bad that you don't like it anymore, but just can't bring yourself to trade or sell it off? So that's a good question because I'm dealing with that situation literally right now. So the game that I liked and was a big influential game for me to begin my board gaming collection journey was Stonemeyer's Scythe. I bought that game unplayed. So I bought, without playing that game, I bought everything for it, as well as the broken token insert, and commissioned to have it painted. So once I got it and I had everything done, I had the painting done, I was well into this game. 350 plus, I believe. It was expensive. And I loved it. And I think my player group loved it. And we played it a lot. But I would say I keep looking over because I'm looking at it as, you know, I'm judging it as I side eye it over here. I think that I don't find myself in love with that game as much as I used to. I find that the beginning of the game is so unfun for me in terms of you just feel behind. You always feel 3 turns behind. And originally I liked it because you're like, oh man, you're always got to think you're multiple turns ahead. But I didn't feel I was multiple turns ahead. In fact, I felt anxiety because I felt like I just couldn't do what I wanted to do compared to what everything else was happening, because you just were always behind in your action steps. Now that might be just me, but I have found myself not wanting to play that game. In fact, 2020, we didn't play that game much at all. And then I played it once in 2021 in our regular play group, and it was kind of funny because my wife even was surprised. She was like, I'm surprised you brought Scythe out. And I said, you know, I wanted to try it again. I wanted to see what I thought, and I did not enjoy it. And so it's one that I have invested heavily into, and I have attachment with it because it's part of my history of board game collections. It's one of the first 3 games I purchased when I started this collection. So it's hard for me to get rid of it. Would I get rid of it? I'm getting closer to. I just, you know, if anyone's interested in buying my Scythe collection, let me know, you know, and we'll throw it out there. So there's that. Jonathan Garrett asks, he actually says he can think of 3 questions. What is one game that is objectively bad that you like despite its flaws? And that's the first question. Objectively bad that I like. Objectively bad. I think the game that I would say that I like, that is the most objectively bad game that I own, that I like, would be Tapestry. I think Tapestry is a game, another Stonemaier game, that is objectively not well liked, I think, in the community. But my wife enjoys it and my player group really enjoys it. And it's not a bad game in terms of, like, I enjoy the little mini games that we're doing. I enjoy setting up my little territory down here. I enjoy going around the track. I do think that it doesn't do what it thinks it's doing very well, and I could probably play any other game other than it. but I have fun when I do play it. I just don't think it's a good Civilization game, and which sucks is because my wife is a big Civilization fan, and so she thinks it's a great game, and I'm just sitting here, it's not a Civilization game. So Garrett asks another question: desert island scenario, which 5 games would you bring, assuming no issues with player count but focusing on endless replayability? That's a very, very good question. Focusing on endless replayability, I can keep playing this game and I would have fun. And interesting enough, I would say that one of them would probably be Gloomhaven. Although I don't play Gloomhaven a lot, I enjoy this system quite a bit. I think I could enjoy that one a lot. I would say War of the Ring is an incredible game. I would definitely want to bring that along with me. I would probably want another deck builder game, and if you're allowing me to cheat and include expansions, I would probably say Terraforming Mars, because I think it's an incredible game. I would also say Twilight Imperium, because if I'm in a desert island, I'm gonna have plenty of time to play that game forever, and Twilight Imperium is an incredible game. And then let's see, what would be kind of an interesting, maybe lighthearted game that I could probably enjoy? Oh, Caverna. That's a game I would probably enjoy because it's got a good amount of variety in it. Those are the 5 games, and I just kind of looking around my room looking for games that I would probably want to bring with me. You know, a sixth game that I would bring, you know, maybe replacing Caverna, would probably be Root and all its expansions, if I'm allowed to bring expansions. I don't know if that was one of the caveats, but I think Root has enough variety and variability in that one that I could see really enjoying that one, including the new Kickstarter. Okay, and Jonathan Garrett's last question is non-board game related. What is one place, country that you've always wanted to visit, holiday in, that I've never had a chance to go? That is a very good question, and I would love to go to, you know, I would say one of the Eastern Asian countries. Now, I have wanted to go to China, Japan, and Korea for a very long time. Any one of those countries have an immense amount of history behind it, and I love going and looking at historical landmarks and old places. The last international trip that I went to was to Ireland and then Italy, Rome specifically, and I just really feel like seeing things that are, you know, part of human history, human you know, cultures is something that is rewarding and probably the best education that you could get as an adult. And so I have actually traveled quite a bit in my years to, you know, to experience as much countries and different types of cultures as I can. I have not yet been to Eastern Asia. In fact, I don't think I've been to any Asian country as of yet. And so really I would like to, you know, start there and go from there. Yeah. What about you? Where would you want to go? So the final question I was going to answer today was from Rangdo. Do you ever get burnt out on board games? And if so, what do you do either as an alternative to reignite your passion for them? That is a great question, because yes, I do get burnt out on board games. And I think it's more an occurrence of being a content creator, because I feel like I'm constantly having to play new games for review or for preview or for just whatever. And normally that's not a problem. Like, people be like, oh, you get to play new games like all the time. Yes, but then I have this collection that I'm buying into that I don't get to play a lot of these games for a long time because I'm constantly, you know, trying to play new games. And one of the things, this is kind of funny, my wife gives me, you know, crap about this all the time, is that I hate learning rules. I hate reading rule books. I just hate, you know, I pick up games pretty quick. I feel like I can be like, okay, I understand this game. But the starting off of having to pick up the box or read the rule book, just, man, I hate doing that. And I think it's funny because as a content creator, I'm constantly having to read rule books, and I just do not like doing it. In fact, I rely on Rodney to teach me how to play games, because without that guy, or RFMU, I think read the manual guys, I don't want to say the whole name out because I think it's got cursors. Those guys really help me in terms of learning how to play games, and ensuring that I'm doing it right. So those are big sources. In terms of what I do to reignite, is I try to focus on other hobbies or other things. Obviously my family, I just take a break as much as possible. And I enjoy my computer gaming as a decompression. I use, solo PC gaming as a way to kind of escape from things at night and to just decompress. And so that reduces the stress of having to think about board gaming as work, because if I think it as work, I have a real hard time with reigniting that joy. So that's that. Okay, so I think we're done with this in terms of the phone. Don't need that anymore. The final thing I want to talk about before we get to the giveaway are my 2021 goals, because you guys can potentially help me get there. I want to try to reach, I'm thinking let's double my subscriber count. Do you think we can double my subscribers in 1 year or less than 1 year? I'm thinking if I can hit 8,000 subscribers by the end of the year, that would be incredible. And if I do, I'll probably do another celebration giveaway. Plus we have more giveaways going on, but we'll do some sort of thank you for December, and if I can get it out before Christmas, that would be incredible, because I would love to have someone get something, part of the community, as a thank you. So with that, this was a long video, nearly 30 minutes. Holy, I didn't think it was going to be that long. Let's go ahead and do the giveaway. So let's get started. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and do the drawing for the $99 Oathsworn pledge level. First off, before I click the button, I wish I could give this to every one of you. There's so many of you guys that have been commenting on every video, adding the hashtag, being a part of the community. I wish I had more stuff to give, because there's so many of you that I just really, really appreciate the support. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. Brandon Davey. So Brandon Davey says, with the use of push-it pieces, is there a concern the holes and or pegs wearing down or stretching to a point where they won't stay in at all anymore? I haven't seen the figures yet, so I'm not entirely sure what the system looks like, but it seems with the nature of plastics and changing out your weapons throughout the campaign, it won't be too long before you're having to permanently glue in the specific weapon set. Will this plastic be able to handle a lot more abuse, so to speak? So to answer your question, yes, Toby did feel that this specific type of plastic is designed to withstand multiple uses. Thank you for the comment, Brandon, and congratulations on winning and on your comment. So this was the push fit comment. Congratulations on that. Okay, everyone. So that's the giveaway, and I will talk to you all very soon.